board has returned to open session. In the closed session, we discussed possible settlement negotiations and/or strategy related to litigation expenditures. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the AC session? Motion by Ms. Brill, seconded by Mrs. Andrews. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. I now call the special meeting of the School Board of Palm Beach County to order at 12, if that clock's correctly, at 12:10 p.m. on November 10, 2020. Mrs. Baez, please call the roll.
District 1, Barbara McQuinn.
Here.
District 2, Chuck Shaw.
Here.
District 3, Karen Brill.
Here.
District 4, Erica Whitfield.
Here.
District 5, Frank Barbieri.
Here.
District 6, Marsha Andrews.
Here.
District 7, Deborah Robinson.
I want to take a moment to note that this is a special meeting for Vice Chairman Shaw. While his term does not officially end until midnight on November 16th, this will be the last board meeting where Mr. Shaw's name will be called during the roll. Although we honored Mr. Shaw at our board meeting on October 21st, this meeting marks a turning point in Mr. Shaw's amazing career in education. Good luck to you, Mr. Shaw. We'll miss you sitting here with us at the dais. Also present with us today are Superintendent Dr. Donald Fenoy, General Counsel Sean Bernard, Inspector General Teresa Michael, Executive Assistant Maria Baez, and Board Clerk Carol Bass, who is joining us remotely. Senior staff members will join us periodically as directed by the Superintendent. This meeting is being transcribed by a closed captioner, so remember to speak at a reasonable pace. Will everyone please stand for the pledge to be led by Vice Chairman Chuck Shaw.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go for comments, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I would like to begin by commending the district's operation crews that were out in force yesterday while schools were closed, cleaning up campuses following Tropical Storm Ida. Thanks to their efforts, campuses were able to reopen safely today. I'm happy to report the district did not suffer any significant damage from the storm. The district has also determined that a makeup day for yesterday's closure will not be required. I'd also like to update you on the technological milestone we have reached on our campuses. As you may know, the district set a goal of installing an interactive smartboard in every classroom on every campus. By the end of next week, we will have deployed nearly 11,000 smartboards within our district schools. These smartboards are a game changer for teachers, especially in the time of simultaneous instruction. These large interactive boards add a great deal of interaction for students in both in-person and distance learning classrooms. On the subject of learning, our district is proud to join districts across the state in recognizing Florida's Holocaust Education Week. This year, the Florida State Legislature passed legislation that adds to the existing Holocaust mandate. The new legislation designates the second week in November as Holocaust Education Week. This video created by the districts gives you an overview.
The School District of Palm Beach County will be observing Holocaust Education Week during the week of November 9th through November 13th, the anniversary of Kristallnacht, an event that led to the Holocaust.
My name is Menachem. My friends call me Mickey. I am a survivor of Auschwitz.
We recognize without reservation that as a district, we must strive to overcome prejudice and inhumanity through education, vigilance, and acceptance.
The picture below, my mother, her brother, her sister, everyone except my mother and her brother were exterminated in Auschwitz.
In the past, we have had a live performance from the company called Living Voices, where they have partnered with many of our schools. But this year, due to our COVID-19 circumstances, we had to get creative. We are now able to reach every student in grades 5 through 12 with lessons from the Holocaust.
As my holy man said to me, just pass it on.
We know for sure that when we educate students about the Holocaust and we learn from the lessons of the past, we can change the future. It's our obligation to share the stories and never forget.
There are a variety of activities and programs underway this week in addition to the core Holocaust curriculum that we currently teach our students. A proclamation regarding Holocaust Education Week will be read during the November 17th regular school board meeting. I also invite you to visit the district's Holocaust Research webpage, palmbeachschools.org/Holocaust Education. And now I'd like to share with you a brief update on COVID-19. Those of you who follow the district's COVID-19 dashboard know that we continue to report confirmed cases among students and staff. While our commitment to COVID-19 safety guidelines continues to keep the numbers relatively low, our campuses reflect what is occurring in our community. We have a workshop today which will provide valuable information about the timeline, methodology, and parental consent information that we will roll out along with the rapid antigen testing in our schools after Thanksgiving break. Our school nurses have been trained. The state has provided us with nearly 9,000 tests, with the assurance that more tests are coming. I look forward to sharing that update with you. I'd like to also acknowledge 4 tremendous educators in our district. They are this year's finalists for the distinguished honor of 2021 Principal of the Year for Palm Beach County. The nominees were selected by the regional offices and represent each of the 4 regions of the school district. Our outstanding finalists are, from the Central Region, Adrienne Howard, principal of UB Kinsey Palmview Elementary School. Let's give her a round of applause. From the North Region, Philip D'Amico, principal of Watson B. Duncan Middle School. Let's give him a round of applause. From the South Region, Rachel Capitano, principal of Don Estridge High Tech Middle School. Let's give her a round of applause. And from the Glades region, Derek Hilbert, principal of K.E. Cunningham Canal Point Elementary School. Let's give him a round of applause. The nominees will be celebrated during a virtual ceremony in January. During that event, the winner will be named. The winning principal will then go on to take part in the Principal of the Year process at the state level. Again, please join me in congratulating all of our finalists. Each is certainly a winner in his or her own right. Let's give them all a round of applause. Finally, I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge all of our veterans who work for the School District of Palm Beach County and live in our community, and their families. Your service is something that I hold dear to my heart, and I know our district does as well. I also like to take this moment, which I typically don't do. I want to give a special thank you to my father, Senior Master Sergeant Fenoy. I've never really called him that, but Senior Master Sergeant Fenoy, for your 22 years of service, and to my mother, who did all that time with him. So thank you to all of our servicemen and women. If we could have all our servicemen and women in the audience, please stand. Yeah, I see you guys. Please stand up so you can be recognized. You can stand up too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Those are my comments for today.
Thank you. Board comments, Mrs. McQuinn? Mrs. Whitfield?
I just wanted to publicly say thank you to our legal staff for this amended final order that we are going to review today. I know the tireless hours you've put into this and to capture all of our thoughts in a very long meeting last week. I really think you did a wonderful job, and I just want to say thank you.
Ms. Brill?
Thank you, and I just want to thank Communications for putting together the videos of the survivors and some others, and I hope that you will share all of them with the board. And I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking down the road that we share it with other school districts, share them with the Holocaust Museum. This is a way that we will be able to keep these lessons alive as we lose our Holocaust survivors every year more and more. And so I just want to thank you for your willingness to step out and to put that together for us. So thank you.
Mrs. Andrews?
Thank you. And I, too, want to thank Communications. What a lovely video. We can never forget. And we must talk about it every day and never forget. I, too, want to personally say to our veterans, thank you for your service. Thank you for keeping America great. Thank you for helping us to know that we live in the greatest land here in the world. And we could not have the safety that we live with each day without your work. So veterans everywhere, our veterans locally right here with the school board, we celebrate you. tomorrow, but we celebrate you every day. Thank you for your service.
Dr. Robinson?
Thank you. Those are some good videos, but I want to talk about veterans for just a split second. So, you know, I came to know myself during the Vietnam era, right? And there were a lot of things about Vietnam that were horrible. And I knew people who came back from Vietnam, and I knew people who did not come back from Vietnam. And I had a really negative view of the military and those who served. But when I started working with veterans and caring for veterans, first when I was in medical school, which was on the locked psychiatric ward, that was like a whole different experience, but then at the VA. So, you know, I cared for veterans for, I think it was 22 years, like I lost count, but their stories made me wish I had paid attention in history class, right? And their stories gave context to what was in the book, right? And, you know, and there's stories in my family, like my grandfather who served in the Spanish-American War but was not allowed to train with weapons. They had to train with broomsticks. What kind of madness is that? And so, you know, I'm gonna look for equity everywhere, but I just want you to know, my veteran patients taught me history, and they also taught me the inequities inside of that sphere of stories, right? And so I really would like, and I've said it before, I think I'm appreciating it more now. We really, I think, need to reach out to our veteran communities so that they can tell their stories. Maybe we film them, and so that their stories are part of the lesson in school, so that they can, our students can feel it and know it the way I came to understand it much later in life. So I also want to thank our veterans for your service. I am increasingly more appreciative of it. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw? Nothing? I have no comments today. Other than Ms. Shea, I want to agree with the other board members. You do a fantastic job putting those videos together. As a matter of fact, I will say on Dr. Robinson's follow-up, perhaps we could do some videos with some of our veterans that you could put together to show them in the schools. And next Veterans Day, we'd have something to get out to the schools. Absolutely. Great. Dr. Robinson?
I don't want to do it on Veterans Day. I want to do it as part of the class, right?
Yeah.
So that it enriches what's in the book.
I agree, Dr. Robinson, except the veterans have always asked us to do something special on Veterans Day. If we're going to put the kids in the classroom, let's give them some veterans stories on the day that they're there. We can do it other times of the year too, but especially on Veterans Day, the kids should be able to see real-life veterans and hear their stories. Thank you. That'll take us to the agenda item. There's only one in the special meeting. I recommend the board approve adoption of the final order in the matter of Palm Beach County School Board versus William Latson. Motion by Mrs. Brill, seconded by Mrs. Whitfield. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Take a motion to adjourn the special meeting. Motion by Mrs. Whitfield, second by Vice Chairman Shaw. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Open up the workshop.